What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing the games that will be taking place on the weekend of the Stage 4 Week 2 event for the Call of Duty League. The Draftkings slate that I will be discussing today will be that takes place on June the 3rd from Thursday to Friday. It's a 4-game slate. This slate consists of the Atlanta FaZe against the Seattle Surge. It also consists of the LA Guerrillas and the Dallas Empire. It also consists of the Paris Legion and LA Thieves, and as well as the Florida Mutineers and the New York Subliners. This is the slate I'll be discussing about today in this video. All 4 games, starting with this one. If you're new to the channel, I basically break down betting prices for platforms like Draftkings. I discuss betting advice, or just betting odds and favorites for whatever Call of Duty matches are on any given weekend. I break down Call of Duty esports here in this channel, and I will be breaking down future esports like Valorant in the near future as well. So if you like making money just betting on esports, you know where to find me, and you feel free to stick around. So yeah, with that being said, let's discuss this first game of the slate that is going to be a very easy one to discuss, because as you guys can tell, the Atlanta FaZe is going up. The Atlanta FaZe, the best team in the Call of Duty League, is going up against the worst team in the Call of Duty League, in the Seattle Surge. Seattle Surge have a record of 4-16 as of today. Atlanta FaZe has a record of 24-4. Now, if you look over here at the odds, minus 1200 for the Atlanta FaZe to win. That just tells you everything. The Seattle Surge, they just acquired a new player in a classic. Not too amazing of a player, but this team has been shuffling around a lot in the past. These past stages have been shuffling a lot. They haven't found their groove. They're not a good Call of Duty team, so I wouldn't put money on them, especially not against the best Call of Duty team in the Atlanta FaZe. So yeah, my favorite picks for this match would probably have to be R-Cities and Celium. I do like both of these guys just because they are the cheaper ones, and I feel like R-Cities and Celium, being in this team that is most likely going to get a 3-0, I'm going to be mind blown if the Atlanta FaZe don't get a 3-0 against the Seattle Surge here in their match. These two players, being the cheapest here, are in the best position because they're going to probably get a lot of fantasy points. Granted that they probably are going to get that 40 point bonus due to the match sweep. For those of you who play Draftkings, you know that when a team gets a sweep, the players in the team, each player gets a 40 point bonus to their overall score, which makes that player even more of a necessity to have in your lineups to cash in. Just to quickly recap, just for reference, the Atlanta FaZe played the Optic Chicago last week, and they absolutely destroyed them. They massacred and smeared their name all over. They've just been destroying them all season long, to be honest. 250 points on the hard point for Atlanta FaZe against Optic Chicago. 6-4 on the CDL S&D on Express, and they 3-0'd them in Control. Optic, they haven't been looking amazing, but they are widely considered a top 6 team every year. So for them to be just destroying teams like Optic and Dallas, just ragdolling them like this, I really doubt that they're going to come in here and lose to a team like the Seattle Surge that is just struggling to beat the worst teams in the league. I just don't see it happening. I don't even see any of their players having a decent game, like it's gonna be very hard for any of the Seattle Surge players to have any good value in my eyes. But you know, just to look at some stats here, as we can see here by these stats, Atlanta FaZe, very solid team. They've beaten everybody, I think. Yeah, they pretty much beaten every team. Uh, Look at these stats here, just if for those of you who don't know, if I don't know what I'm talking about, look at these, overall match scores. For Hardpoint, phases 33 and 15 in total of games played. In Search and Destroy, they're 28 and 15. Um, so they have a over 50% win ratio here. They have slightly under 50% win ratio here. That's very good. Search and Destroy 28 to 15, and in Control they have 24 and 7. So they know their game modes. They know how to play. They're very dominant in every game mode they play. They're a very dominant team. The only team that has really stepped up to them so far is the Toronto Ultra, and that is, just as of late. If we go and we check out the Seattle Surge, on the other hand, we can see the Seattle Surge here, aren't doing too great. As you can see, red, red, red everywhere. It's not a good sign, neither in the stock market and neither in DFS, So you want to generally stay away from teams like this who lose a lot. If we see at their hardpoint record, they have 14 wins and 20 losses. Search and Destroy, they have 11 wins and 15 losses. And in Control, they have 3 wins and 17 losses. So, this team is not good at all, by any standards. And even the times they do win in a mediocre fashion. They got like 1-3-0, but that was a while ago, and that was probably a fluke. With that being said, I really don't like the Seattle Surge, so now we can move on to the next matchup, which is probably going to be more interesting. For this next matchup, we have a more evenly competitive matchup here against the LA Guerrillas and the Dallas Empire that is sure to be more amusing than the first one we talked about. The Dallas Empire actually haven't been doing too great. If you guys have been watching the games, they actually got absolutely fucking smoked by the Toronto Ultra 3-0. And I, for one, a Dallas Empire fan, did not take this lightly. I did not appreciate the Toronto Ultra doing this to my team. But, they got absolutely smoked. 250 to 144 against, in the hard point on raid. The Express S&D was a 6-4 win, and the Control was a 3-1 victory on behalf of the Toronto Ultra. The Dallas Empire have been looking shaky, even now that they've added this guy named Vivid, this player named Vivid. He was actually on the LA Guerrillas squad. They were the team that sent him to the Dallas Empire. So, this guy, might pop off this game. He might not against his former team that he decided to leave. So I just wanted to note that off the bat. But yes, Vivid is coming over from the LA Guerrillas side. He was transferred to Dallas Empire team that is actually very much struggling after the departure of Hugh from their squad. Hugh being the superstar that got traded to the LA Thieves. Which hurts a lot, but that's neither here nor there. I do like a couple of players here in this matchup. I want to start with a player like Cheen. Cheen is one of the newer additions that replaced Vivid. He was actually he's actually been the only replacement that the LA Guerrillas have made so far this season, and he really he's been helping the team produce a little bit more. I would say, they feel like they're more robust when they play than when they were with Vivid. I mean, when they were with Vivid, they did beat the Atlanta Phase, but that probably was a fluke. I am confident that the Dallas Empire has what it takes to beat a team like the LA Guerrillas. However, what we saw from this series against the Toronto Ultra worries me because I don't know if they are going to look like this against every other team that they face, or if they just look like this against the Toronto Ultra, which is the second best team in the league right now. So, with that being said, I do see a couple of valuable players here in this lineup. Like I said, Cheen is a good one. Uh, Cheen at 8,000 on the flex is a good value in my opinion. I've seen him post up good numbers in some games. I don't know why Draftkings doesn't have his game log updated, but his last game against New York Subliners, he posted 70 kills and 62 deaths, which was a pretty good stat right there in itself. So Cheen, I feel, is like the best player in the LA Gorilla side. The one player I always see blows up and has made me money before, and he's came in clutch, is Apathy in the king spot or the captain spot at 9,600. Apathy is that type of player where if the LA Gorillas win, he's popped off. Like if the LA Gorillas win, it's very hard for him not to have a good it's very hard for him to not have a good fantasy game if the LA Gorillas have won. So I would say Apathy and Cheen would be the only two players I would target here. Just based on the price. Silly isn't a player I really trust too much. He's been fairly inconsistent as of late, and I don't think he's gonna do that great against the Dallas Empire. Neither will Assault. For those prices, I rather pivot to Crim 6 at 7,400, which seems like a good price for him. Crim, he's getting there. He's getting pretty up there in the years that he's been playing Call of Duty professionally, but he's still a beast, and he's more consistent than most of the LA Gorillas players, even though they haven't been looking too great as of late. As for a player like Illy, I feel like 8,400 might be a little too expensive for him at the flex position. He has been a little bit inconsistent, but that when Dallas Empire wins, Illy, sometimes returns good value. Maybe at the captain spot at 12,600, maybe, but I got used to playing Illy in the captain spot at cheaper captain prices, so I don't know about 12,600. I don't know if he can meet that value. But yeah, I do feel Illy is a decent play if he does pay out. 8,400 would be a good price for him. He would probably meet that value if Dallas wins in a 3-2 fashion, even more game time played for all the players. Shotzi at 9,800 I don't really like, because Shotzi hasn't been performing too well recently. Fun fact, I think I played against Shotzi one day playing Halo 5. I found him in the matchmaking, and he smoked my ass in a free-for-all. Yeah, that was a long time ago when Shotzi used to play Halo 5 esports. Yeah, just a fun fact. But yeah, I don't think Shotzi has been playing too. He hasn't been playing too great recently. The Shotzi hasn't been, producing a lot. He's been fairly inconsistent as of late. So his last game against Toronto, he posted 41 fantasy points. So I don't like that. He did post 100 the game prior to London, but he's been very inconsistent as of late. At 9,800 shots, he has to prove a little bit more for him to, have people really trust that price at 9,800, and at 14,700 the cap that he's going to deliver greatly. You can get away with playing him in smaller contests like cash contests if you have like a decent lineup, complementary to him, if you have him in your captain spot. But other than that, I wouldn't touch Shotzi in my opinion. So yeah, my favorite play here in the Dallas side would probably be Crim or Illy. And on the LAG side, it would probably be Chain or Apathy. Those are my thoughts on these picks. Those are the players that I would probably maybe target, or I would think that have the best upside. As for the team positions, I really like the Dallas team position. I do think Dallas is going to win this game. I have confidence in them. I just don't know how they're going to look. I am just kind of worried about what, Toronto Ultra exposes. But I mean, Toronto Ultra is Toronto Ultra. They're the second best team in the league. So, they're going to make any team look like that except FaZe. But, yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the first game on Friday. This concludes the 2 games on Thursday. Now we move on to the other 2 games for the day of Friday, and these are all on the same slate, by the way. So yeah, let's talk about the next game, which is Paris Legion against the LA Thieves. So as you can see here, we're going to be talking about the Paris Legion versus the LA Thieves. LA Thieves have a record of 14-12, and the Paris Legion have a record of 5-14. So you know that the odds for this game are properly placed when LA Thieves is at a -300 to the Paris Legion's plus 220. LA Thieves heavy favorites here. They've been looking very good. They just put TJ Halley back into the team. They benched Hugh and they put him back. They were looking good with him, so they decided to put him back in the team. As you can see here, Paris Legion all the way down in the bottom in 11th place, so they're the second worst team in the league. So it is safe to say LA Thieves have an easy job on their hands. But there are a couple players here on the Paris Legion side that I want to talk about that I feel like might have a little bit of upside in the case that Paris Legion upsets the LA Thieves, which is 100% possible. And I believe that one of these players might be Temp at 7K for me is a decent spot. If you wanna hedge your bets and make a bet on Paris Legion that they're going to win, whether it be on Bovada or wherever other platform, and on Draftkings you want to play some Paris Legion players, I do feel like Temp would be a good fit here at 7,000 for the flex, because or at 10,200 for the cap, because so far the past like 5 games he's actually been posting really good numbers. 96 against Florida, 96 against Toronto, 91 against London, and these are DraftKings fantasy points, by the way, that I'm talking about. 104 fantasy points he posted against Atlanta FaZe. So Temp might be hitting a stride here. He posted 79 kills and 70 deaths against Atlanta in that, I believe it was a 3-1 loss. They also lost, they're coming off of a loss against the Minnesota Rocker, as you can see here, a 3-1 loss as well, where, Zaptius, their new acquisition, underperformed as well. They might be having chemistry problems, but they do have talent in that team. Minnesota Rocker beat them, smoked them in the hard point on Garrison. Paris Legion surprisingly gapped them in the raid S&D. Minnesota came back, they took the control 3-1, and then they had a close hard point, that could have tipped the scales on whether this match would have gone to Paris Legion or not, So this very close hard point, 247 to 250, might be a false indicator of what maybe Paris Legion are feeling right now. Maybe they're feeling a little bit better. Maybe they feel like if they would have won this map, they could have won the S&D. Who knows? But I do believe that an upset could happen here. It probably could happen. I don't think it's that impossible, and I think that if it does happen, players like Temp and Scraps are definitely going to be at play here, or a player like Aqua. Between Aqua and Scraps, I would typically prefer, Scraps, but, it's a toss-up in a match where they are favored to lose. So, you would probably go with the cheaper option in that case. For the LA Thieves side, the first one I always look at is at Kenny. He's been the most consistent player in that roster as of late. He's been basically their workhorse, their star player as of now. He's been, um, fairly consistent in the past few games. The LA Thieves just came off of a close series against the Seattle Surge at 3-2, which is why I believe that an upset can possibly happen with Paris Legion, because Paris Legion, even though they're bad, I don't know why they went 3-2 against Seattle Surge, but um, nevertheless, they lost the Apocalypse Hardpoint. They won the standoff S&D, which is the new map in rotation, the classic Black Ops map that came back into the CDL rotation. They won the control on Raid, which Seattle Surge is notoriously bad at. And Seattle Surge won the hardpoint. They got smoked in the Moscow hardpoint, and LA Thieves smoked them in the CDL Raid S&D. So, with that being said, I do feel like LA Thieves obviously have a chance of winning this game. In my opinion, Kenny would probably be a good, solid play to bet on if you believe that is going to happen, alongside a player like TJ Halley at 7,000. I feel like TJ Halley is properly priced. He might not be the best value ever, but I think he's properly priced at 7,000. And TJ Halley usually blows up in these like random spots where he's like super cheap and he's going against like, I don't know, a mediocre team, and he just pops off. Those are the games that TJ Halley usually does his work in, when he does work. He wasn't doing too great here. He was like 16-25 first game, I believe, but he has games where he pops off. Yeah, so that's what I think on the picks here, who I think are the best, Draftkings picks. Based on team positions, I would probably take Thieves team position because I think they're gonna win. But if you went with the Paris Legion and you really thought they could like pull off the offset, you would definitely be rewarded by that team position at 2,600. Nobody uses team positions in the cap, so I don't even refer to that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this game. And let's move on to the last game of the day, which is the game between the Florida Mutineers, who are red hot right now, and the New York Subliners. And next up, we have the game between the Florida Mutineers and the New York Subliners. Now, this is going to be a pretty interesting game because the Florida Mutineers have always been considered a very good team that is very inconsistent. Now, they managed to beat the Toronto Ultra, the second best team in the league right now, in a 3-2 series. They beat them, and they looked very dominant. Florida Mutineers also beat London the series before. That's not saying too much, but the fact that they beat Toronto Ultra, the stage 2 champions, says a lot about them right now. They're feeling confident and they might be hitting a stride, And what does that mean for New York Subliners? Now, New York Subliners are obviously, top 3 team right now on the league. So, they are not scared of the Florida Mutineers. Florida Mutineers, in my opinion, are probably going to lose this series. But I do feel like there are a couple players here that could be played that will probably have decent upside if the Florida Mutineers pull off another upset. And one of those players is Awakening at 8,400 and at 12,600 in the captain position. Just a quick recap for the previous series against Toronto Ultra. They beat Toronto 250 against 182 in the hardpoint on Raid, which was pretty amazing. They beat them in the standoff, the new classic map added into the rotation. They got 3-0'd in the control in Raid. They lost the Moscow hardpoint, but they lost they won the S&D in Miami. So, this could have probably gone either way, who knows, but they took the series from Toronto Ultra, one of the best teams in the league right now, the second best team, I would say, in the league, and as so would everybody say. So, these, players, very good on both sides. If we look at the stats, If we look at the stats, you can see the last win 3-2 and then 3-0 against London. They're 19 and 21 on hard points overall, 15 and 13s in search and destroys overall, 11 and 14 in controls overall. So search and destroy is their bread and butter. That's what they've gotten the most wins in, and in my opinion, that's probably what's going to help them win this series if they do. Awakening is really the only one I'm looking at here at 8,400. I don't know why Skies is more expensive than him. Neptune at 7,600 is another pick you could probably go for. Neptune is very good, but I feel like Neptune as well is very inconsistent. Awakening is kind of inconsistent as well, but if they are going to win this game against the New York Subliners, they both have to go off. They're going to have to go off, as including Skies, but Skies I feel is a little bit too expensive for my liking, especially since he has been producing a decent amount of fantasy points as of late, so he might not be too expensive as he was the game previous, but it's just hard for me to spend that kind of money on him right now. But I gotta admit, he is looking good. So 8,800 might not be too bad. I might take that back. But for the most part, Awakening needs to come up clutch. Neptune needs to come up clutch too. And for the New York side, New York are coming off from a win against the Los Angeles Guerrillas, a 3-2 win where they won the first hard point, 250 to 195. They lost the Miami SND. They won the control, which is one weak point of Florida Mutineers. They won the control on Garrison, and they won the hard point on Moscow against LA Guerrillas. Heavily inclined to believe New York Subline is going to take this, and I do believe that players like Hydra at 10,200 are very good here in this position, including the likes of ASIM at 7,400. I feel like ASIM is very cheap at that price. I've never really seen ASIM at that price, and he's been posting 100 fantasy point games in the past 2 games, so I feel like ASIM is probably the best value pick here on the New York Subliners side, as well as maybe Mac. But in terms of my favorite picks ranked in order on the New York Subliners side would probably be ASIM, Mac, or ASIM, Hydra, Mac, Clayster, and then on the Florida side, it would probably be Awakening, Neptune, Skies, Havok. So yeah, those are my thoughts here on this specific game. I do feel like New York Subliners are going to win. I do feel like they have more of what it takes. And as we can see by their stats, they're also good in search and destroy, but they're very good in the hard points. And there's going to be 2 hard points in this match. If they go to game 4, so they're not too great in control, but still I feel like New York Subliners could probably take this. With that being said, thanks for watching the content. If you like this content, I do make it with the intentions of hopefully helping people make profits in websites like Draftkings for esports betting and the like. I will be supporting another esport in the near future, Valorant, which has been popping off, and I will keep it coming with the content for Call of Duty for the rest of the season and for the foreseeable future. Now I just made a Twitter. Obviously has like no followers, but if you want to keep in touch with like the channel or like updates in the future, you can go follow it. It's in the little header right here, XP Fuel on Twitter. If you want to give it a follow, hopefully I can grow the following over there, so videos like this can be tweeted out, so people can see them. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for the comments and the likes, and thank you guys for the views as well. And with that being said, thanks for watching.